Prime Minister on a two-day visit, and they're being given this very, very warm welcome. This is, in fact, the Prime Minister's 7th visit to the UAE since 2015, his 3rd in just the last 8 months, and also his last big international trip before elections are announced. So in a sense of this term of the Prime Minister's, this is his last international trip that he would probably be making, and a big diaspora event also planned. Ahlan Modi, that is being planned at the Zayed stadium, which will take place today evening. The Prime Minister will also be inaugurating the Baps temple, which is a key part of his visit and of course his address to the Indian diaspora. So that event will be taking place later. He'll also hold talks with the top leadership. As you saw, where President Sheikh Mohamed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, he will be holding talks with him. The two leaders will discuss ways to further deepen, expand and strengthen the strategic partnership between both countries that has only strengthened in the last couple of years of Prime Minister Modi's term. The Prime Minister would hold talks on and exchange views on regional and international issues of mutual interest. He'll also be participating in the World Government Summit to be held in Dubai as a key guest of honor and deliver a special keynote address as well. So there, the Prime Minister arriving in the UAE on this two-day visit. It's a packed trip for the Prime Minister, greeted by the UAE President, and he will be holding talks with the top leadership as well, and inaugurating the first Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi. And then, of course, one of those very trademark events, whenever the Prime Minister travels abroad, you have one massive diaspora event, and that is taking place here as well at the stadium where the Ahlan Modi event will be held. This is at the Zayed Sport City stadium, where the Indian community will be, the diaspora will be gathering. It's been raining heavily as well in the UAE. That's played a bit of a spoil sport. We believe 65,000 people had signed up for that diaspora event to be attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He will also be participating in the World Government Summit, which will be held in Dubai, where he is a guest of honor. The Prime Minister will also be delivering a special keynote address. So Prime Minister Modi, they're arriving on this two-day visit. In fact, interestingly, one of the changes has been that from here, from the UAE, the Prime Minister will be going to Qatar. He will be traveling to Doha, and this change in his plan was made after Qatar released the 8 former Indian Navy personnel on Monday, which was a huge, incredible news for the country to have its Navy veterans who were on death row, in fact, there in Qatar, being released, 7 of them already back in India. So the Prime Minister will be traveling to Qatar as well after he leaves the UAE. It's a packed program the Prime Minister has, as we've been mentioning. He will be inaugurating the Baps temple in Abu Dhabi. It's the first Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi that the Prime Minister will be inaugurating, and then he will also attend the Ahlan Modi event. That means a welcome Modi event. It's the big trademark diaspora event that often accompanies the Prime Minister's foreign visits, and thousands of the Indian diaspora are gathering, in fact, to greet the Prime Minister and for this event, which is being held at the stadium. This is in the Zayed Sport City where this event will be held, and the Prime Minister will hold talks with the UAE leadership. He will be holding talks with the President Sheikh Mohamed bin Zayed. They will discuss ways to further deepen, expand and strengthen the strategic partnership between the two countries. They will also be discussing regional and international issues of mutual interest. The Prime Minister will then also participate in the World Government Summit 2024 to be held in Dubai as a guest of honor and deliver a special keynote address. Let's go across to Maria now for more. And Maria, Prime Minister there, a warm welcome for the Prime Minister as he arrives in the UAE. Tell us more about his program. You're, of course, at the venue of the Ahlan Modi event.
Yes, Gargi. So India and UAE have developed quite a strong bond, which is multi-dimensional in many ways. Perhaps it spreads from cultural to trade, and also that understanding of economic ties, which have deepened over the last few years as well. So now, with the Prime Minister's arrival, his itinerary and the schedule will kick in. There is a bilateral which is going to take place, and even as we speak, you can see that cultural program which has begun here at the Ahlan Modi event. This is the Zayed Stadium, where the Prime Minister is expected only at 7 p.m. But talking about the India-UAE bilateral relations, which have received impetus from time to time because of exchange of high-level visits from both the sides. We have seen how Prime Minister Modi has been in UAE 6 times in the past, and this is his 7th visit to the UAE. In fact, the 3rd one in the last 8 months alone. SEPA, which is essentially a trade agreement between the two countries, which is essentially economic partnership agreement, actually has given a lot of boost to the trade in the last few years. Remember, it was signed particularly during the COVID times, but yes, because it had the endorsement of the top 2 leaders, Mohamed bin Zayed as the president of UAE and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So the leaders having endorsed it, it went on to officials who implemented it in a record time of just 88 days. Then there is that big announcement that came during the G20, which is the economic corridor, which involves India, Europe and Saudi Arabia. In that also the UAE has an important role to play. But yes, it is a lot of personal warmth which is on display. Remember when Mohammed bin Zayed traveled to India, there was a road show that was organized for him in Gujarat. He was there for the vibrant Gujarat summit. But here, as where we are, there is a lot of excitement building in as Prime Minister will be reaching here shortly. But yes, there are 2 aspects or 2 parts of this trip. One is the cultural connect, which the Prime Minister spoke about. The government of UAE had donated 27 acres of land where the Baps temple has been built. That is going to be inaugurated by Prime Minister tomorrow, and today will be the diaspora event. But on the other side is also a lot of diplomatic engagement, which includes Prime Minister delivering a keynote address at the World Government Summit, a summit which he had attended in the past as well. But as we have been saying, there is a lot of anticipation around the India story, and India continues to be seen as that bright spot on otherwise global economy or the global economic environment, which is relatively being seen as gloomy. But there is a lot of interest around that, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi trying to really build that personal relationship, be it with the Emir of Qatar, which actually led to those 8 Indians who were on death row and who were in fact convicted and on death sentence in Qatar. They were in fact sent back to India. Their sentence was completely relieved. So, but overall, that's what Indian diplomacy has come to define Gargi in the last 10 years of Prime Minister Narendra Modi.